Hi guys, I'm Barbara and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator at Studio 316. Now in this video I want to show you how to make this card using the Notes and Totes Bundle from the 2025-26 Annual Catalogue from Stampin' Up. Now I've pre-cut, so this is one that I made for a class that I did on Saturday, and I've pre-cut all of the pieces that you're going to need to make the card. So I'm going to put that to one side and bring in the dies that I've used. Now I've got them all laid out to show you. So these are all the dies that I've used. It's nearly all of the dies from the set, to be fair. So it's a very comprehensive card. And these are, let's move that right out of the way. These are the pieces that I've actually cut out. Let's turn that way round. I think will be easier and get it all in shot. So I have cut out one piece of the actual bag itself. So this one I've cut in basic beige. I've cut out this little die here is actually suntan cream, so I've cut one of those out in some designer series paper, and this designer series paper is from the Florals in Bloom suite. I've also cut out one in Old Olive, and I've just snipped off the top and the bottom of the bottom pieces because we're going to layer those on top of the paper piece when we come to putting it together. I've also done the same thing with the water bottle. I've done away with this little piece at the top, which is the handle, because it's just so fiddly. So I've got a water bottle in the designer series paper, a water bottle in Old Olive, and snip the top off again. We have the decoration pieces for the bag, so that's all on one die. So I've cut those out in crumb cake. Also in crumb cake I've cut out one of the handles. There are two different styles of handle, and I've chosen this more solid handle. So excuse me. I've cut that out in crumb cake. I've also cut out the shell in crumb cake. In the designer series paper, and I've learned that the Americans call this a tote scarf, and it actually ties around the handle of your tote bag. So I've cut one of those out in designer series paper. I've also cut out a starfish in lemon lolly cardstock, and we have the hearts. You can either use them as hearts and snip all the little extra bits off of it, or they are actually sunglasses. So I've got the base of the sunglasses in gold foil, and I've got the decorative piece in Old Olive, and we're going to layer those together in a moment as well. And you're also going to need two sets of this one, which are your fence panels. So it cuts out all in one die again. So this I've cut out in basic white, and you're going to need two sets of those. So let's put all these to one side. Try not to lose them all as they all fall off the piece of card. So I'm going to slide those off. The other things that you're going to need is you're going to need a 6x4 piece of balmy blue cardstock, so which is going to be your card base, and you're going to score that at 4 inches. Now, if you've seen my video on how I get two card bases out of one A4 sheet of card, then this has been cut to those measurements. So it's actually 5 30 of an inch by a 5 30 of an inch by 4 inch card base. It's a lot to say. So I will on all my videos I will say 6x4, but if you watch that video you can find out how to make your cardstock go a little bit further. So I've got my card base, and I've also got a piece of 2 inch by 4 inch crumb cake, which I was going to make our sand on our card. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer, and I'm going to score my card base in half. So with a long edge at the top, I'm going to bring that along to 4 inches, making sure that my dark grey cutting blade is out of the way, and I'm going to score that in half to make my card base, and it's going to be a portrait card, so we're going to pop that up in portrait mode. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to attach my crumb cake sand piece. So I'm just using multi-purpose liquid adhesive for this. So I'm going to put some on the back of there, and I'm going to line that up down in this bottom left corner with my fold on the left hand side. Number of times I have made a card and got it opening the wrong way, so make sure that your fold is on the left hand side, and you're going to stick your piece of cardstock over there. I've made it slightly bigger so that I can trim it down to make it line up properly, just so that we don't get a blank edge there should it not line up quite right. With my scissors, excuse the fact that I'm not using my stamping snips. I can't find them at the moment, so I've got some tatty old scissors that I'm just going to cut off the edge of that so that it lines up. Next, we're going to take our fence panels. So there's one set, and here's my other set. And you start off, we've got the, I'll bring that in, we've got the actual fence, the downward pieces of the fence coming over the top of the struts. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to line these up. I'm going to put a bit of glue on the back. You can also use our adhesive sheets before you die cut these pieces, these smaller pieces, and it just does make it a lot easier when it comes to sticking them down onto your card itself, rather than using the liquid glue. But again, I don't know where my adhesive sheets have gone. So that's on the list of stuff I need to order. So I'm going to take the second one, and I'm just going to use one of these fence panels to give me a rough idea of where I want to put my next strut. So that's going to go, I'm going to put that about here. If you want precise measurements, a lot of the time I don't use precise measurements, but that would be, where are we? That's 0. So that is about 2.5 inches down from the top. And again, with the scissors, I'm going to snip off the ends. Let me get rid of those. And then I'm going to bring in the fence panels. Now, I've lined all of my fence panels up equally on this card. For this one, I'm going to make them a little bit uneven, because not all fences are straight. I know the ones in my garden certainly aren't. So I'm just going to start off, I'm going to put one just to one side of the middle. Again, I'm not measuring them. I'm just placing them, putting a bit of glue, a bit of adhesive on the back, and I'm just placing them on, and I'm going to make them slightly, and you've got 6 fence panels, so I'm going to make them slightly uneven. So I just brought that one up, oop, it's stuck to my finger, just brought that one up slightly. I'll stick that down, and then we've got the next one. And these are cut, not only do these dies cut your panel piece, it's also embossed the texture onto it as well. So they are cut and embossed dies. So we'll stick those down. That's 3. Panel 4. I'm going to bring that one down a little bit. Panel 5. Let's bring that one up. So again, not too worried about making sure they're evenly spaced to the side, like next to one another either. This is a very rustic looking fence at the side of a beach. There we go. So that's the fence done. Now I'm going to make up my bag, so I'm going to put that to one side for a moment. So again, the die has cut and embossed for us, and so scored for us the lines to make up our bag. Now there, you can make this into, by using 2 panels, you can actually make this into a little bag. And here is one that I made. Oops. Here's one that I've made for my craft ladies. When I give them their catalogues, their new catalogues, they've got one of these little bags as well. So that's made up a little bag that's gonna have some chocolates in it, so that they get a little treat with their catalogue. So we're gonna fold all of these score lines, and in fact this score line here, I'm going to, I'll fold it under. So this little tab here, I'm going to cut off, because I want to be able to use the edges to be able to bring the bag forward a bit, so that you've got a little bit of a gap there. You could slip a little gift card in there if you wanted to. So I do want it to be back a bit, but I don't want that little tab there because it's going to get in the way. So we're going to fold the base underneath. We're going to just fold these sides slightly to give it a bit of dimension. So those there. I don't want a full fold. I just want to fold it back slightly. These end pieces, however, I am going to fold back fully, because again, they're going to make the sides, that's how we're going to attach it to the card. So I'm folding those over like that and giving them a good burnish. So when we've finished, that's going to hold these bits here. These tabs here are going to be what we use to attach it to the card, and it's going to push it away from the card base itself slightly. Before we do that, we're going to unfold those and we're going to decorate the bag. So we've got this little strip here which forms the base of the bag. So I'm going to add some adhesive to that. A little goes a long way with this multi-purpose glue, and I love it because it gives me a little bit of wiggle room if I get the pieces in slightly wrong position. So I'm going to line those up like that. I'm going to take my handle and I'm just going to place that behind, so that it lines up, so that I can see where I want to place these downward strips. Now I've placed these, oops, make sure that it's, my piece of paper keeps sliding. I've got a really lovely glass mat that Stampin' Up did a little while ago, which is great. However, it shows up the lights, so I can't leave it uncovered. So I've got this piece of grid paper on the top which keeps sliding around. So I'm just going to put these decorative pieces on the front of my bag. So I'm just using the handle just to roughly line it up so that I get them fairly even. So they're going to line those up. You could put those on first before you put this bottom piece on, but you do get a little bit of a bulge. Snip those off. A little bit of a bulge where the straps go underneath, but I don't think it notices too much that it doesn't quite match. And then I'm going to take the handle and I'm just going to put a bit of glue along the bottom piece here. Oops, come out. You need to squeeze this glue very gently because it comes out, especially when it's a new one, it comes out quite quickly. And as I say, I love that glue. It's the liquid adhesive, multi-purpose liquid adhesive, or also known as Tombow, because that's the maker, or the green glue as it's known in a lot of craft circles, because, well, I'll give you 3 guesses why it's called a green glue. So that's the front of my bag. I'm then going to attach my little tote scarf, and I'm just going to attach that by this little, actually, I'm going to change this one up slightly, and I'm going to use a small mini dimensional on the back of the knot of my scarf, so that it just stands out a little bit and gives it a little bit more dimension. So that's my little scarf, tote scarf, knotted to the handle. So that's my bag decorated. I can now attach that to the front of my card. So folding these tabs back, I'm going to add some adhesive to the tabs. And as I say, this is going to bring your bag forwards a bit to give you a bit more dimension, but also allows you to be able to put a gift card in there if you want to. And I'm just going to line that up and just attach it. So I'm pushing those edges down slightly, and I'm going to hold that down. Ooh, so you see what I mean about the wiggle room? So I'm going to hold that down at the edges, so until that, just for a couple of seconds while that glue starts to set. And then you can see it's just pull forward slightly so that you can put your gift card in behind there. So that's the bag attached. Now, I'm not going to need that part of the water bottle, so I can move that out of the way so that I don't get confused. And I'm not going to need this part of the sun cream either, so move that out of the way. So I want to attach these little pieces to the bottles, so it's a bit of paper piecing. Again, you could use the adhesive sheets and attach that to the back of your card before you die cut the old olive pieces, or if you like to get sticky like me, you can do them with the liquid adhesive. And I'm going to stick the top of the sun cream onto the design series paper piece, and then the bottom. This bit is quite fiddly, so you may want to use a pair of tweezers just to make it a little bit easier to hold and place. So that's the bottom of my sun cream. And then here's my water bottle, and I'm just going to attach the lid of the water bottle in Old Olive. Like so. There's the lid to my water bottle. Okay, again, I'm going to use mini dimensionals and attach these to the back of the water bottle. I think we can go with 3 on this one. You could use full size dimensionals, but I've got the mini to hand, and the back of the sun cream so that we can make these stand out a bit. I'm going to attach the top. Ooh, that was just the cut back. The backing came off. I'm just going to attach the top of the sun cream with the dimensional, because I'm going to attach the bottom down on with a little bit of glue. So taking these, a little bit of glue on the back of the base of the sun cream, and I'm going to add that over here. So I've got my sun cream, and that's just brought the top of it out slightly, so like that. And then take the backs off of here, off of the mini dimensionals on my water bottles, and my water bottle is going to go just here. There we go. So we've got the water bottle and the sun cream in. I'm going to attach a large dimensional, so a normal size dimensional, to the back of my shell. Actually, I want to make sure that oops. So this again is cut and embossed, so that you get a really good effect. However, if you stick your dimensional in the wrong place, it can pull apart, so be careful. So you can see here it's actually cut the swirls of your shell there, as well as embossed the detail on it. So I'm going to put my little shell down here, and by putting that on the dimensional, although we've got crumb cake behind there in other places, it will bring that forward so that it is a bit more, you can see that it's two different bits. Now I am going to use the back of my hand. This is one of my craft ladies, Julie. This is her favourite way of putting adhesive onto the back of little pieces. So she sticks it on the back of the hand. You can also use a silicone mat. So we've attached a little bit of the glue adhesive to the back of that. Again, adhesive sheets is the even easier way of doing it, and I'm going to just attach that over the top of my gold foil sunglasses, and I'll just push that down to set it. There we go. Now I've got some glue over it, so they actually do look like my sunglasses, because my sunglasses are really scratched. So I'm going to put a dimensional on the back of the right hand lens. So mini dimensional there, back of the right hand lens, and then the left hand lens is going to stick to my bag because it's going to come off of the bag edge. So I'm going to put a little bit of glue on there. Oops, a little bit too much, but never mind. And that they are going to go across the bottom of the card like so. And then I've got my little starfish, and I'm going to have a mini dimensional in the middle of my little starfish. Yeah, just got it in the right place. It will just take a little mini dimensional in the middle without it being seen over the edging. And I'm going to attach him to the middle there. Okay, so it's a finished card. The set also comes with the stamps, which I have here. She says, throwing all the dies everywhere, and we've got just a note, sending warm wishes, relax and enjoy. Now you could put you could stamp relax and enjoy at the top there, would look really good. I'm not going to stamp that now, but you could stamp relax and enjoy up the top there, and we'll make a really nice card for a birthday or just for any occasion really. So that is the finished card. Two slightly different cards made with the same idea. Mix and match your colours, change it all up a bit. I'd love to see the cards that you create using the same techniques and the same set. I will post in the comments, there will be the list of items that I've used, so you can go to, if you want to, you can go to my shop and order those so that you can make your own cards. So I hope you like the project that I've just brought to you. As I say, I'd love to see your own versions, so please post your cards in the comments once you've made them, and I look forward to showing you another card at another time. So keep an eye out for my next videos. Thanks very much for joining me. Take care and happy stamping. Bye.